So here we are talking about Halloween 5. This is going to be a great one because we all know how amazing Halloween 5 is. Easily the best in the franchise, and obviously that's a joke. What is up, you guys? Ryan Brewer back here, the host of Michael Myers Reacts, and today I'm here to talk about Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. I'm going to talk about why this is a failed sequel. I'm going to also talk about why this movie is also my guilty pleasure. I definitely have a strange love for Halloween 5, and those of you who have been watching my channel for a while already knew that, but yeah, Halloween 5 it's going to be interesting to talk about. Also, before we get into this, I do want to apologize. It has been a little bit since I've done a Halloween podcast. It's been about 3 weeks. The last one I did was the Halloween Ends update / prediction video or podcast, whatever you want to call it. And that one did really well, so I want to thank everyone who watched that one and who supported that video because it did really good. And now I'm back. I'm continuing talking about the original Halloween films. I last left off with Halloween 4, so of course we gotta talk about Halloween 5. So let's go ahead and get right into this. Let's talk about why this is a failed sequel. And really, to me, it's for two reasons. It's the director and the writers. This movie was not written well. There's so many plot holes in it. There are unnecessary things put into this movie. And Dominique, the director of Halloween 5, I don't know how to say his full name. I will put it on the screen. But he's not a great director. He was not a good guy for the job. I haven't seen all of his work. I don't know how many other films he has, how many films he's done after Halloween 5. I just don't like his work. At least when it comes to Halloween 5. Obviously, Halloween 5 could have been 1,000 times better than what it was. You know, Halloween 4 was so good, but it set a really high bar because Halloween 4 is, you know, arguably one of the best in the franchise, and Halloween 5 is one of the worst. So I'm not just putting the blame on Dominique and the writers. You know, Halloween 4 was so good that it probably would have been hard to top anyways, but there could have been somebody out there who, you know, maybe could have made Halloween 5 just as good as Halloween 4. Now, with that being said, I don't hate everything about Halloween 5. There's definitely things in it that I think are really good. But majority of the movie is negative things. You know, his directing just isn't my style. The story is awful. I mean, it could have went so many different directions, especially with how Halloween 4 ended with Jamie killing her foster mother. They could have done something way bigger with Halloween 5. And I'm about to say something that's probably going to confuse a lot of my audience and be like, wait a minute, so why do you say this about Rob's Halloween and not Halloween 5? Alright, so you guys know how I say Rob Zombie doesn't understand the character of Michael Myers. I feel like it's the same way with Dominique. He doesn't understand the character of Michael Myers. But then you're going to be asking me like, well, wait a minute, then why do you like Halloween 5? Why do you have a strange love for Halloween 5 and not Rob Zombie's Halloween? Let me tell you why. First off, the reason why I say Dominique doesn't understand the character of Michael Myers, there are so many scenes in Halloween 5 where you could just see Michael Myers wandering in the background, just standing in the background, not in a good way either. Like he's just like he's not supposed to be there. Like Dominique didn't know where to put Michael, so he just told him to stand in the background. It's awful. Dominique does not understand the character of Michael Myers. Now, the reason why I like Halloween 5 over Rob Zombie's Halloween is because Rob Zombie, I think, did even worse. Now, Rob Zombie's not a bad director. I am a fan of Rob Zombie's work, especially when it comes to the Firefly family trilogy, but his Halloween movies are garbage to me because it's like a kind of well-directed piece of crap, if you know what I mean, because Rob Zombie's Halloween is so bad to me because it's almost like Dominique tried to hide it. He was like, you know, just stand in the background, maybe they won't notice you. Rob Zombie was like, we'll just have you walk down the street and I'm just going to film it. I'm just going to be right here and film it. I don't know. I just don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween. I think he's a good director. I think his Halloween movie could have had more potential than what it did because Rob's not a bad director. I just think he shouldn't dip his hands into the Halloween franchise or any other franchise. I think Rob is better when he does original work. But Halloween 5, the reason why I have a strange love for it is because it has that late 80s feel. Halloween 5 still feels like a Halloween movie. Rob Zombie's Halloween movie feels like a Rob Zombie movie trying to be a Halloween movie. And I don't want to bash Rob Zombie's Halloween too much. I think his ending is pretty good, but majority of his movie I just don't like because, again, it feels like a Rob Zombie movie trying to be Halloween, and it can't be. But I like Rob. I do think he's a good director. I think he's an okay writer when it comes to making original content, but he needs to stay away from the Halloween franchise. And with that being said, so does Dominique, which he will. I'm sure he's never coming back. He's definitely not coming back. They both don't understand the character of Michael Myers, but strangely enough, I think Dominique actually got more things right with Michael Myers than Rob Zombie did. And with that being said, this is where my guilty pleasure part starts coming in, and I want to talk about the barn scene. Now, I've talked about this on the channel plenty of times. You guys have heard me talk about it, especially if you've been on my channel for a good little while. But for those of you who are new to my channel, I want to talk about the barn scene in Halloween 5. That scene is incredible. Arguably the best scene in the entire movie. I don't think there's any other scene in Halloween 5 that's better than the barn scene. Dominique had the atmosphere down in that scene. Obviously, Sam and her boyfriend go in the barn, and of course they're going to get killed by Michael Myers. And when he's in there, he uses that farm tool. The moonlight's coming through the cracks of the barn, and just everything about that had some amazing atmosphere. It was shot pretty well, at least for Dominique. I don't think it was shot too bad, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the franchise. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely up there because it's shot really well and it's done really well. And it's really just sad that everything else around that scene is pretty awful. Even the ending of Halloween 5, even the beginning of Halloween 5 when Rachel gets killed off, just a wasted character. She's such a big character in Halloween 4, she was just wasted. You can say what you want about Danielle Harris's performance in Halloween 5 as Jamie Lloyd. I think she did good. I don't mind the psychic connection between Jamie Lloyd and Michael Myers. I think that's okay. You can also say what you want about Donald Pleasant's performance as Dr. Loomis. I actually like it. I think it makes sense. This is 5 movies in, 4 movies for Dr. Loomis. And at this point, he would be at that breaking point. He would be going crazy. He's been chasing Michael for so long that I feel like anybody would snap at that point. It's really just sad that Halloween 5 couldn't be as good as Halloween 4, at least a good follow-up to Halloween 4. But I do have a strange love for it. It has that late 80s feel. It still feels like a Halloween movie in my opinion. But there's just so many things wrong with it, which is so sad. Like, even though I do somewhat enjoy the movie, I don't think it's unwatchable. I like Halloween 5. If someone came up to me and said Halloween 5 is the worst in the franchise, I'm not going to say you're wrong. If somebody came up to me and like, oh, I love Halloween 5, it's actually one of my favorites, I'm not going to say they're wrong because I have that strange love for it too. Now, it's definitely not one of my favorites in the franchise, but it's definitely not the worst either. It is one of the worst, don't get me wrong, but something about Halloween 5, I have a strange love for it. I know I'm not the only one. There's got to be at least 10 of us, right? I'm just kidding. But Halloween 5, I don't know. I just have a strange love for it. I know I'm not the only one. I've seen people talk about Halloween 5, and they kind of like it as well. It's really a love-hate relationship. You either really like Halloween 5 or you don't. I mean, I guess you could be in the middle with it as well. I'm kind of in the middle with it, but I enjoy it. So that is my strange podcast on Halloween 5. I do have a little bit of a love for Halloween 5. I also know that it's definitely a failed sequel. It's garbage. Let me know what you guys think of Halloween 5 in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts because I know there's people who like it. I know there's people who hate it. So I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts. And yeah, that's going to do it for me on this Halloween 5 podcast episode. If you're new here and you're a horror fan or a Myers fan, definitely hit that subscribe button because this is the place for you. And with that being said, I will see you guys on the next video.